Hello everyone. This is Adnan Bhai, and Adnan Bhai is currently working as a product manager in Gogox. Today he will talk about how to become a product manager. I have received a lot of requests from the community to talk about product management. See, here is Adnan Bhai for you. Tell
Thank
us
you,
something about
Shoaib.
your.
Really, great experience to talk to you. And before I go on to start talking about myself, I think I should let you know the work that you're doing is something truly amazing. And it's very, very needed because likewise in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, a lot of people don't even know what product management is.
Hmm.
So, and you're building this space where people can, learn about these amazing new opportunities. And so this is something really amazing. So a bit about myself. I am, as you said, I'm Adnan, and I'm a product manager. I'm a product manager with Gogox, which is basically a logistic tech company, and it's one of the first logistic mobile based platform. It's similar to Uber. You open the app, you call an app, and it helps you transport. It's one of the first in Asia, and we are currently operational throughout Asia Pacific. And I'm a product manager for basically their payments, internal efficiency, and enterprise business going forward as well. And I've been working with them for almost like now 1.5 years. So that's a very quick kind of like summary about my work life. Originally, I'm from Pakistan, and I've been living in Hong Kong for almost 2 years. If I go a little more personal, then there as a human, I'm very interested in nature. Talking to intelligent and interesting people like you. I think that's how I have been learning about life and almost everything.
Did you plan to be a product manager when you were in college?
Oh, just a confession, because I'm going to keep this conversation very open and honest. I didn't know anything about product management 17 months ago, and I happened to find about product management through very, very random way. So I remember I was at this networking session and in Hong Kong, and I met this guy. He's basically product design lead for this insurance company called Bowtie in Hong Kong. And I was asking him how to become a UX designer, because at that time I was taking a UX course.
Hmm.
And he kind of like learned about my background. He's like, "Have you thought of product management?" And like, and for the more, it's like, what is
What
product
is?
management? No. So he kind of like gave me a bit of introduction on product management, and that's why I like learned about product management. So I had no idea, no background in product management. Just within 16 months, my career, my life, and everything has changed because of how I got involved into this space.
You studied in Lahore, then moved to Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Can you please
yeah,
share
yeah.
your story?
My career journey is, we see movies and we see like Igden, hero gets up, he wakes up in the, it's like, I don't want to live this life. I'm going to leave country. I'm going to, just move abroad and all of that. So I'm originally from Lahore, as you said, and I did my bachelor's there in one of the leading business school in Pakistan. I did double majors in marketing and finance. And throughout those 4 years, I was like working really hard, doing internships and everything. And that helped me land a job right away. And then I started working with Nestle. I started working in their sales and marketing team. So inherently, like when I moved to Hong Kong, I was a very, very traditional sales and marketing guy. But when I was working with them for almost 3 years, I kind of like realized that what I'm doing, it's not something that I love doing. And I wanted to move out of Pakistan and wanted to do something that I feel is getting the most out of my potential. So I started applying for scholarships abroad, and I landed this very nice scholarship in Hong Kong, which covers everything like your stipend, your education, your travel expenses. So I moved here last year, did my masters, and after finishing my masters, now I'm working here as a product manager.
What I know about product management, that you have to be good at business. You have to know about the user experience. What skills actually you need to become a product manager?
I agree with you that you, as a product manager, you need to have a very good, strong sense of business acumen. When I moved to Hong Kong, as I said earlier, product management I wasn't aware of it. And, when I moved to Hong Kong, one of the surprise that I had that Hong Kong isn't as international as we think. There was a lot of language barrier, and my background was sales and marketing, and I couldn't even apply to 95% of the jobs because they required the local language, which I didn't know about. So then I realized that I have to learn the technical skills so that I may land technical jobs which may not require the language. So I had the business acumen from my like job and my degree, but I didn't know about UX. I didn't know about product management. While I was doing full-time masters, I took on extra courses outside my university on UX to basically learn about UX, and I did this 5-week course to basically get the fundamentals of UX. And I think that aspect is very very important for you to basically at least have solid fundamentals, to have solid foundations, and that helps in becoming a product manager.
There is a misconception in Bangladesh. You have to be from business background or you have to be from computer science background to become a product manager.
There is no one formula for you to become a product manager. I know a person who was a full-time dentist and now she's a product manager.
Okay,
Full-time.
that's interesting.
And
Okay.
she is like looking after the most major business for us in Gogox, and she's like very very amazing at what she does. I know someone who was an air hostess and now she
Mhm.
is in
Came to the
some
product management.
product space. So
Okay.
COVID happened, all the flights were closed, and she didn't have anything to do. She took some courses, and now she's like working in that space. So there is, I wouldn't say there isn't like any prerequisite. It's just that
Mm,
it's just about your drive to make into this space, and also finding that right kind of like company where you can
mm,
add value, because you could be
mm.
like very amazing, but you couldn't be the right fit for a particular company.
You can be a product manager even if you learn these things, right?
I find product management very based on basic human common sense, to be honest. It's like product management is totally about learning how to communicate, which doesn't
Mm,
need a like require a specific degree, or that,
mm,
certain people with certain degree can,
mm,
communicate better.
mm,
I would say a big part of my job right now as a product manager is
mm,
communication skills. My
mm.
team is entirely
Okay.
based
Mm,
remote. My engineers are in Taiwan. My QA guy is in, mainland, and
mm,
all three of us like originally speak different language, and none of us are like comfortable with each other language. Taiwanese, my engineers, they speak different language, and they're not like very comfortable with English. I'm not, and I
mm,
don't understand Mandarin. And it comes down to being able to trust and empathize with each
mm.
other, and like just having good enough, or I would say not good enough, but having very good communication human skills. I think that's the biggest prerequisite. It's not a degree, it's not anything.
Suppose as a product manager you might need to work, you have to work with business people as well as the tech people. Sometimes you need to understand
Yeah,
that, okay,
yeah.
I'm bringing this feature that will be introduced later, but if you don't understand the technical feasibility then it will be difficult to design. So to understand the feasibility, do you think that technical knowledge is also important?
I would say it's good to have. A product manager doesn't work its own, right? As a product
Mm,
manager, I have like sets of these amazing people around me who work alongside me to make things happen. So even though I may know I'm a technical guy, but I'm not going to sit on my laptop and do the coding. I'm gonna leverage on developers to help me with that.
mm,
As a product manager, I think the technical part, what I do is that I rely on my technical lead to basically
mm,
sit with me and give me like a very basic understanding of what is possible, what is not possible, kind of build that trust and being to build that relation that you're
mm.
able to get work done through other people. Because even like you are product but you're also a manager, right? You have to manage people as well. Just let them know what we're trying to do and give them the space, and respect them and give them the time to come up with different solution. This particular hurdle wouldn't be a much problem.
Then, bhai, there is a complaint. Product manager don't have any specific work to do. Product designers do design. Developers actually develop the design. What is the role of a product manager?
I've seen a lot of memes on Twitter. People are trying to move heavy stuff, and
Exactly.
there's this guy who's like, pretending that he's helping. I think it's a very unfair criticism or unfair trolling. There's a lot that goes through product manager that only product manager can do. Like for example, take the example, right? You are a product manager for GoX, and you have pain point that particular users are not able to get their payments done. They want a new payment gateway. And there are like five different payment gateways out there. How do we decide that which payment gateway is the better? Do they need another payment gateway? Is this problem worth solving? Because at the same time, there's like 10 other problems which is there in the system, right? This like identifying the problem, kind of like deciding is this problem worth solving while comparing it with the other 10 problems which is out there is something which is like product manager responsibility. This guy is gonna sit down, he's gonna come up with product vision. So for example, if we like go 3 years ago, I don't know if Grab is in Bangladesh, but Grab
Oh,
evolved from so Grab is like a super app where you can
yeah.
get done everything, right? So
Right.
someone sat like 5 years ago and they said that Grab is gonna be a super app, and that person was a product manager. They
Mm,
sat down and had a vision for a product, and then they built the whole thing around it, right?
mm,
Then so setting out a product vision, of course, with product vision comes product strategy, that how we are going to do it. And then
mm,
to kind of like make it more efficient or make it more doable, you come up with a product roadmap. And of course, along these decisions, you are constantly interacting with business stakeholders who can be very difficult people to manage because they have certain expectations, right? So
mm,
all of this is happening, right? Product vision, product strategy, product roadmap,
mm,
stakeholder management, communication. These are very, very key components of product development process, and product manager is responsible for that. And also, like on the other part, if we come to the when it's you have to be on point when it comes to building the solution, because engineers, they are gonna go to Jira and they're gonna read something and they're
mm,
gonna build out of it, right? So then, like documentation, PRDs, running sprint planning, communicating, very clearly letting it out that what
mm,
exactly is the problem, what we're trying to build. That's product manager role, right?
mm,
So I would say there's a lot that product manager does. They're leading the whole thing. I would say at GogoX, we have a very, very Silicon Valley style product
mm.
management. Every product manager is working in their own space. And we
Right,
are a platform business. So there are
right,
clients
right.
on one hand, there are drivers on the other hand, then we have
Mm,
enterprise business, and it has
got
to
it.
be. So this is, if that's just a throwing out a book
Mm,
recommendation here, inspired by Marty. It's one of the best book to read if you want to become a product manager. That's
mm,
the ideal way to do things, to have
mm,
specific squads to work on specific part of the product. And of course, as a like and altogether it works as a one big product that your user or your end user knows. For me particularly, and for any product manager in GoGoX, at least, we have a very independent. Every product manager has the right to make calls that, oh, we're going to build this, and this is why
mm,
we're going to build, and this is what we're trying to achieve. So we have a very outcome driven product culture. We don't run after what our competition is doing, because then it's going to be just very, I would say, futile chase. We don't
mm,
run after that because we want to achieve, would say, business numbers, but
mm,
we do run after business objectives or
mm,
business outcomes.
mm,
And that, as a product manager, is something that I have the complete right
mm,
to do that. And if I go on to like on day to day, I would say that it's completely, I design my whole day completely. It's up to me,
mm,
get up and what I'm going to do today, or what are the deliverables that I'm going to achieve, what are the to dos, for me to get done with. But of course, you have your line managers to report to. So I have like bi-weekly check-ins.
mm.
I have weekly check-ins to let them know that what's happening, why we're doing it, and what's.
Adan bhai, let's share something about product designers. Some of them thinks that the success of a design comes from how good it looks. Oh wow, this is really nice design. But as a product manager, Adan bhai, how do you measure the product success or a feature success? The
I
yes,
think
my product worked really well, my feature worked really well.
people
Mhm.
usually believe that if it looks fancy, it's a good design. All that glitter is not gold, right?
Yes.
Design is just about problem solving. Why exactly we build this? Why exactly there's this button there, or why exactly it looks like this? What is it trying to do? Take example of a major ride hailing app. Their approach is completely different while they're solving the same problem. Making design look fancy, maybe it's good for your LinkedIn likes. You're gonna get like maybe 10 more likes, people are gonna appreciate you. But if it doesn't solve a problem, a product manager or anyone in the business and the company, they're not interested in a good product culture. if it doesn't solve a real life problem, it's of no use. Like on
Hmm.
the other hand, it's good to have good visual design skills because it's kind of
Hmm.
like good cherry on the top kind of thing. But if your cake is like piece of crap, and then there's the cherry on the top, no one's gonna eat it, right?
It will not work definitely.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the metrics and the user behavior, see, when you are working in a product like your users are not tech savvy at all. They don't use
Hmm.
this app as much as like you and me do. Do you ever consider themselves when planning for a product?
Lot of people make mistake is that thinking about the user, they jump to conclusion. For example, when you're working on a specific problem, it's very core human nature. You're already going to start thinking about solutions, because that's
Hmm.
how humans have been evolved. That when we were living in cave, we had to find a solution, otherwise we are going to be dead. So, and
Hmm.
that thinking has stuck with us, that
Hmm.
whenever there's a problem on hand, non-tech savvy users, or be it the tech savvy users, it really really comes down to understanding the problem, what
Hmm.
problem you're trying to solve. First, understand the user, understand their pain point, understand their problem, understand the
Hmm.
user behavior, and try
Hmm.
to build something around that. And it can be an app, it cannot be an app, it can be a very traditional
Hmm.
system as well, right? Because
Right.
at the end, you want to serve your user to
Hmm.
solve the problem. So I think what would I say is to stop yourself from the solution mindset and kind of like take
Hmm.
a step back and go with the problem first mindset. That
Right.
what
Right.
exactly is the problem?
Adan bhai, when you are working with different regions or different countries users, so their mindset could be different, right? If you think that in future, if GogoX comes in Bangladesh, and the user's mindset will be different from Hong Kong, different from
Mhm.
USA, right? How do you deal with that when you are designing the same product but for different regions?
I think that's a very good question. I think hyper localization for such cases is very very important. You cannot just build a system which may work in Hong Kong and just like take it to, let's say, Bangladesh and expect that
Hmm.
people are going to adapt to it. Let me give you an example of here,
Hmm.
a real life example. We are working in Vietnam as well, and
Hmm.
in Vietnam, in Hong Kong, of course, transport is much structured. It has
Hmm.
some rules and regulation.
Hmm.
But in Vietnam, they're even
Hmm.
transporting a fridge on a motorbike, similar to India
Oh,
and
in a
Pakistan,
motorbike, freeze.
on a motorbike. Yeah, that's one of the transport options, right?
Yeah.
So now, of course, we need to include that, and it,
Okay.
it, it complies with the
What
local
about the
regulations.
rules? What about the rules? My government rules, isn't there
Yeah,
restricting?
so it complies with the government rules and regulations. So we of course check
Interesting.
with legal and everything that. But now that's one thing we cannot imagine doing in Hong Kong, right?
You heard about Lala Move, right? I saw their product recently. They introduced their product in Bangladesh, and I find that there is a difference from the actual application. There are some features that are not present in Bangladeshi application also. I mean, they introduced or removed or add something. Even I saw their product also. What they introduced there in Bangalore,
Hmm.
the same thing. Features are not 100% same. There are something that is different, so
Hmm.
they are introducing it after understanding the user behavior, right?
That's very true, and that's true for any launching in a new market. For example, I built a solution, right? And I built it and I've been building it in Hong Kong for
Hmm.
9 years.
Hmm.
And what my app looks like right now, my user is already used to it. My user in Hong Kong has already used it for 9 years. They know what this particular feature does, what this does. I can
Hmm.
launch that feature in Bangladesh, but even
Hmm.
if the market is not ready, they don't understand how it works.
Hmm.
It's gonna so the user is gonna be confused, right? They're gonna tap on the button. What is it supposed to do?
Hmm.
And they have a bad user experience and they're never gonna come again. So usually you want to launch a very bare bone, like solution in a new market so that
Hmm.
it gets the job done, have one or two good features so that people have a good delightful user experience as well. But if
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
launch a solution which has been built and used in a different market for 9 years
Hmm.
and you're launching it in a new space, it's gonna confuse people, right?
Right.
Like all of a sudden, like for example, I see different things on Instagram, and I've been using on Instagram for like since college. Then even for me, that's like it takes me time to process it and get used to it. So you
Hmm.
have to be very very mindful about user behavior, and I guess that's what good tech companies do. They don't just like copy paste their solution
Hmm.
to the market.
If it goes with my business, I mean, it is, if it works and if it brings revenue for us, then copy it. Otherwise, no.
I would say the companies which go after business and numbers,
Exactly.
but it's, to be honest, from my perspective and from product perspective, it doesn't last long, because it doesn't, it can work, but someone's gonna come with a better solution and they're gonna take away your customer.
For
So
sure.
you can get all the money while there's no competition, but if someone is gonna come, they're gonna take away your competition.
That's true.
Yeah.
Other than that, let's talk about hiring. So when you are
Yeah.
hiring a junior product manager, what is the interview process? How can we apply? Can we apply from Bangladesh, or we have to be physically in that places where GoGoX is operating?
I think if you speak specifically about Gogox, something probably I'll have to check with HR to get a better idea on this. Kind of like maybe I can give away an answer on how or what kind of product managers are being, are
Yeah, please,
required.
please.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Got
I
it.
think for a junior product manager is someone who's very very self driven, who has that go get attitude, right? For now, we're not talking about any technical thing. We're not talking about
Hmm,
CS. We're not talking about coding. We're not talking about business stuff. We're just
hmm,
talking about the basic behaviors as a teammate. That's quite key that we look into, like for the junior product manager, right? I think your drive, your interest, your learning acumen, for example, if that junior product manager is reporting to senior product lead, in like, then the senior product lead should feel in 6 months I can give a task to this person. I don't have to follow up or don't have to
hmm,
supervise them. But it's very difficult to get in. It's very difficult to get in because this whole space, product management space, is becoming very lucrative in terms of
hmm,
money. You
hmm,
have like so many people applying, so then you have to
hmm,
really stand apart. Just one fun story that I'll share for myself. When GoEx came to my university, we had a job fair in our university. GoEx like is very well known brand in Hong Kong, and everyone was applying for it. And I knew that I don't have good enough chances because no background, no
hmm,
product management, and nothing. I put together like a whole presentation on
hmm,
Figma. I made a Figma presentation that
hmm,
who I
hmm.
am and why I'm the right fit for GoGoX. And I used very key, so I
Hmm.
used GoGoX branding elements in my presentation. I used the
Mhm.
buzzwords they use in their
Oh,
on their
that's
websites.
really nice.
I'll share the link with you, and maybe if you have some newsletter, you can put it out there. You have
Sure.
to then in your application process, you have to be really really smart, and you have to be really hard work. Instead of like applying to like 100 applications, spend good
Mhm.
enough time on like 5 applications, and that has gonna have a better conversion rate.
Hmm. That's really awesome. You just showed them how hardworking you will be if they hire you.
Yeah. It's so I had a chat with my manager later. It's like, oh, so HR came to us
Mhm.
that this guy is like really wants to get in, and he has
Mhm.
like made a whole presentation. Do you guys want to take a look? And they took a look and they liked it. It was like they invited me for an interview. It's just that it's your first, that the kind of effort you put in the recruitment process is kind of like shows how much you want to be part of that company. And we see like different fun ways that people have been doing on LinkedIn. Like someone sent their CV with
Mhm.
donuts to the hiring manager. I recently saw someone printed their CV on a cake and they sent that, and there's a whole CV of a
Mhm.
person on a cake. I wouldn't do that. I'm not that cheeky, but yeah, you have to be sometimes very creative.
Do you think that manager's CV should be different than usuals?
It really depends on which stage of product management your product manager you're applying for.
Mhm.
So for a junior product manager, of course, for a senior product manager, it's going to be
Mhm.
completely different, right? For generally, I guess this is just a tip related to job hunting process, that every
Mhm.
CV for should be very very different.
Should be
for example, I'm
personalized.
applying for
Mhm.
like three different jobs.
Mhm.
I can't just like send my one standard CV to every job.
Exactly.
I
You
have
can't
to
do
like
that.
understand what is this job about, what are they looking for.
Mhm.
And to be honest, Shoaib, that's a big factor that makes and breaks. going back in 2014, I was applying for this internship, this company called Coca-Cola, and getting hired by Coca-Cola, even as an intern, is very difficult. I applied for the internship. There's a form that we have to fill in, and what I did was that I kind of like used some keywords that they use in their website or they use in their recruitment process. And at the end, I put the tagline that was Coca-Cola using at the same time at that time. Open happiness. So their tagline is open happiness. So somehow when I was writing about myself, I used that tagline. And during my interview, the hiring manager told me the reason that we have you here is that how your whole story was about our brand. So sometimes you have to just like be creative and
Creative.
smart with job hunting, and it works wonder.
Adan bhai, do you think that community, how UX community or international product managers community can help?
Thank you, Shoaib, asking that question. I think that's a very, very key factor. At least for my personal story, that has been a key factor. There were so many people, because I was growing in a community at that time. I was learning in a community at that time. So my whole journey became much, much, much more easier. Having like-minded people, having people who knows better than you the process, having people who have been through that process is can be very, very very useful. And to be honest, say by like if we go back like 3 years ago, like things were very different before COVID. Like world has changed. I have access to people working at Google, Facebook, at ADP. I can just go set up a call with them for half an hour and get to talk to anyone from any company in any space I want to. And they're gonna talk to me very openly and share their resources they're learning with me. I think there's a lot of good resources out there. Like for example, your channel even itself, right? Within 30 minutes, I can learn. So hopefully, like people would learn what I had to experience for 10 years. You know, within just 30 minutes, right? I think that particular opportunity is there, and community is very, very important. I highly, highly suggest to find a community, be it remote, be it around you in your country, in your city, and stick to it. And the good thing is there are very, very good communities out there.
Any book you want to suggest for the new product managers that they should read?
There are two books that I would recommend. The first one is Inspired. Inspired, it's by Marty Kagan. He's you can say the modern father of product management. His That book is like, you read that book and like all of your doubts are clear and you know what exactly is product management. The second one is Lean Startup. I think that's also a very good way for you to learn how to build solutions fastly and what are the things that you should consider when you're building something.
And I also want to share one channel in a website named Product School. They also share a
True.
very very resourceful content in their YouTube channel. They usually arrange free seminars on product management. Even I joined in a session where there was a product manager from Airbnb. She was talking about her journey and she was talking about matrix. And that time I learned about, oh, matrix. It means there is the numbers just to identify that my products is doing good or doing bad.
Totally, totally agreed. And just one thing that I'll iterate here. You just have to identify what's your learning style. If it's not reading books, don't waste your time reading books. There are podcasts out there. They're very, very amazing podcasts on product management. If you're a video person, this channel, say, hey,
Just watch the
Mahmud,
video.
it's your channel. Come here, watch once in a week. You're gonna get golden nuggets of so many insights. If you're a reading person, go to Medium. There's like 5 minutes article, and you have so much information. And even if that doesn't work for you, go to LinkedIn, follow Akash Gupta, follow Arthur Abdul Rauf, and they put on like bite-sized pieces like that you can read in 30 seconds. Identify your learning style and identify the learning resources around that. You can download the app called Blinkist. The books have been summarized into 5 minutes, right?
I want to add something with you that you have to experience the real application. You can download or you can just visit application and check it out, how it's working, when they are sending me notification, how this kind of feature is working, and this is
True.
how you can learn more about the real life experiences. Right?
True, true, true. I think that's very, very, very true. And it becomes much truer for the job hunting process as well. To to be
Hmm.
honest, when you know the thing, when you have used it, your confidence in the interview is totally different. Usually what happens is job interviews, they're supposed to go do good, but because you're confused or you're anxious, you say things which don't make sense. But if you have done your prep and if you've gone like one step forward, like doing things like that you just said, you are much more confident. And then the other person can see it because confidence is very contagious.
Thank you, Adnan Bhai, for joining this episode. I was really excited, as well as my community people. They will be really amazed to see you. Those who are trying to break into product management. Thank you so much again, Adnan Bhai.
It's a player. It's a player. And to be honest, I just want to say, like, again, want to mention it. If the work that you're doing, it's just
Mm.
amazing. Keep it up, and it was
Thank you so
lovely to
much.
talk to you. And to all of my Bangladeshi family out there,
Mm.
we love you guys, and we're so happy
We
that
love you
you
too.
know you guys are just
Mm.
economically and everything, it's so good, mashallah. And I would love to come there once, at least once, and and have the hospitality of
Mm.
you guys. And if you want another like episode of this, comment and ask
Mm.
Sahib to invite me again, because I just love this conversation.
Sure, sure. Thank you, viewers. You have heard what Adnan Bhai said. Let us know about your comments, what you want to know, what we have missed so far. We will come back again in future, inshallah, to answer your question. And please do subscribe this channel. We will bring more product enthusiastic people here from Bangladeshi community as well as from international community. I will request them to come and share their experiences. So do subscribe and keep learning. Thank you so much, everyone. Adan Bhai, thank you so much.
Bye
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.